All right. Hello, everybody. I'm David here, and welcome to the next episode of the Dugout Crew Podcast. Today, I'm here with Eric Lima,
Hello.
Joey Casio,
Hello.
and Chester Ortiz.
What's going on, guys?
And before we get to the news, I do want to ask all of you. As we all know, Ronald Acuña Jr. just recently, this past weekend, on his running day, got 30, 60, 60, 30 homers, 60 stolen bases. With the new rule changes that's happened this season with no shift and no more pickoffs, do you think this achievement is legit? Because there's already an ace player out there also almost getting to 60, but not 30 homers, I believe, or
He's
40.
got he's got three. That's the hilarious part. He's got three
Yeah.
home runs all season.
3 home runs. So, Joey, do you think this is actually a legit accomplishment despite the rule changes that Acuña Jr. just completed?
Well, to tell you the truth, stolen bases have been going down in the years since, because I think the highest total in recent memory was 68 by Juan Pierre. Hey, it's Jason. Hey, what's up?
Yes.
What's up, guys? Good afternoon.
So we were
Yes.
just talking about Ronald Acuña, and I was starting my turn with Ronald Acuña and whether or not David posed the question about Ronald Acuña's 30-60 season being legit with all the rule changes. I have an opinion on it. I think if there's no 3 pickoff rule where you have to pick off the guy on the third attempt, because that's a rule that can be easily abused, so easily abused by faster players in baseball. No one has stolen more than has had a 70 base stolen season since I think it was Reyes in 2007. It was
Okay.
2007 or 2008. He had 78 stolen bases. He was on the cover of MLB 2K8. That's how significant the slide has been for well, pardon the pun, but slide has
Yeah.
been for stolen bases over the years. Because the last person who was anywhere close to 60, I think, was Billy Hamilton when he was full time, because he had like 56. A 60 stolen base season is incredible, but the combination of power and speed is also just. And I know Jason's loving me say this because the Mets have been dealing with him all freaking season, but Acuña is a very good talent.
Oh yeah, I'll give you that much. Yeah, the guy's all over the place on every newspaper headline, sports banners, or marquee, you name it. He's just very unstoppable. If he doesn't get Player of the Year, if they don't win
MPP.
get Player of the Year, there is something mistakenly wrong with this whole situation.
Well,
you mean
he's
national?
going
You mean
to.
national? You mean National League MVP? Of what you're saying?
No,
I
if
think
get-
he should. I think he should.
If they win the whole World Series and he still doesn't get any kind of recognition for what he's gone through, that's just messed up.
Well,
Because he
the
missed
more I
World
think
Series in
about it,
2021.
because there's an interesting thing, and I'm going to look at it right now because I have the chime. But
Also, he.
people forget
also-
about.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, we all remember that Ronald Acuña Jr. was not. Was not part of the postseason run back in 2021 when the Braves won it all.
Right.
No, he was not. Which
was
is the
only
more
Brian
incredible
Freeman.
part, because I think no, that wasn't the year he got injured. 19 was the year he got injured. But people don't realize this, but years ago there was almost the first 30-60 season, and you would not believe who it was. 1990 for the Oakland A's, Ricky Henderson.
Mm-hmm.
He had 28 home runs. He won the American League MVP that year. They went and faced the Red Sox. Roger Clemens blew up on the mound at Terry Cooney during Game 2 of that year. It's ALCS. But yeah, no. 28 home runs as a leadoff hitter then. Back in
incredible.
1990, 28 home runs as a leadoff hitter, that was not even fathomable at that point. But he had such a great season that year. He had 28 home runs. He did this in 136 games. 136 games, not like what Acuña's doing now.
Right.
28 home runs, 61 RBIs as an MVP. His RBI total was 61. He had more stolen bases. His on-base percentage was .439. OPS was 189 as a leadoff hitter. Compare that to Acuña right now. Oops, that's Barry Bonds. Don't want to compare him to that.
No, man. Barry Bonds is like comparing apples to oranges, you know? It's
Exactly.
not terrible because you're talking two different guys in two different eras of a decade, you know?
Well, the crazier part is he has more walks than he does stolen bases right now. He's going to have a 200 hit season, and I was just talking about it briefly. He's going to be the first man. He has the potential to do it too. He'd be the first man since Alfonso Soriano. That was the mystery man, by the way. He was the one who was traded for Alex Rodriguez back in 2004 from Texas to New York. That's how the Yankees franchise got that cancer that was Alex Rodriguez, who was my favorite player briefly until the steroids came out. But the important thing is he would be only the fifth player. More rare than a no-hitter, more rare than a cycle, more rare than a perfect game. Only 5 players. Acuña would be the fifth. He needs 8 homers. I have a feeling he could do it, but I don't think he's going to get to 70 steals. He's cooled all the way off. But I think his season is not legit because of the 3 pickoff rule. The pitch clock is not – I'm not giving a pitch clock as an excuse. You have 20 seconds to come set and look at the
That's
pitcher.
for the picture. That's more for the pictures.
I understand that, but still.
The matter is at risk. Like if he steps out of the box, it's a strike.
Yes, but that's if they get one timeout, though.
Yeah.
The only reason they only get one timeout, though, is because if you have 20 seconds, you have 12 seconds to ready yourself in that batter's box and look at the pitcher before 8 seconds.
Yep.
12 seconds is not a significant amount of time, but if you never get out of the box, who gives a damn? Like if Acuña's on first base, and I'm going to give an example because the A's won yesterday. They're at 43 wins, and guess what? They would have to lose their next 22 in a row to tie the Tigers for the worst record in this modern era that happened 20 years ago. That's not going to happen. Thank the Lord.
Right.
But
pulling it through with the Royals. I mean, it's a battle of the bottoms there, but the Royals got the game by one game, 44 and 97. You guys are 43 and 97. So I've been watching.
Well, now they face Texas too, and that's what's really going to be the problem. Is
but you guys have been playing some fancy baseball, especially against the Angels, Joey. You got to admit that was
that's because Ohtani had a terrible series. Ohtani had a terrible series, and then they're pitching. I could go. I'm sorry, I'm taking up too much time here. I know we were talking about Acuña, and now I'm going off on a tangent.
But
I know you guys want to give your opinion too.
I would say one more question before I ask the others. How many seasons, Joey, you think will be until it's actually legit?
An actual legit 60 stolen base season, you mean?
Yeah. Like how many seasons will it have to take?
Well, let's see. It's been 41 years since the last. No, I take that back. I think Vince Coleman stole 100 bases consecutive seasons. But it's been almost 40 years since that's happened too. 60 steals is now the milestone. 2 players are going to do it this season. Do I think it's going to happen again with the same legitimacy? Probably not. I'm not trying to be wishy-washy here, but there's the thing. 3 pickoffs. Because guys like Andy Pettitte used to pick guys off with the quickness. You don't need 3 pickoffs to pick off a runner. Because I've seen it in I don't watch baseball every day, but you can see it all the time. Pickoffs happen every single game. It's about being on your toes. So there is legitimacy to it, but I think about it this way. After they killed the no first to third rule where you couldn't bluff to third, throw to first, that was where the legitimacy really became a thing because now base runners really had to be on their toes. So, for example, David, you're the umpire. Jason's the pitcher. I'm at first base. The catcher in this situation is going to be Eric. Eric is behind home plate. He's throwing up his signals and everything, and he sees I'm leading away from first base. Now, Jesse is the umpire at first base. He sees that the pitcher has come set. Eric looks over, sees I'm getting my fancy lead, and he says, okay. He throws his thumb out with a signal, meaning throw to first base. So there's the first pickoff. But you have 2 more chances to get my lazy ass sleeping, okay? You have 2 chances. You get 3 total. If you can't get my lazy ass off first base, then there's something significantly wrong. Because if you got a faster guy out there, your mindset changes. That's where the legitimacy in baseball is. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm not saying it can't happen with all these rule changes and everything. If you could steal 60 bases, you're a pretty damn good ball player. Acuña, yes. In my situation, I think any baseball player that has some speed could steal some bases. Now, if it was Vogelback, forget it. Because Vogelback would see a donut on second base and he'd get a head start.
He'd be like, that's like Bartolo Colon trying to round the bases when he hit his home run, you know?
I know, but that was because I made Eric laugh so hard last week because no, Eric, you 2 weren't here. It was me, Eric, and David, and I said David was going to sing the national anthem. Oh, say, can you see?
Buy somebody early light. I don't know. Why we're so proudly we not hailing at God's early.
Yeah, like Romy. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Imagine Romy hearing David sing, "No singing."
Okay.
His temper, throwing his chair around and all that good stuff.
No. David would do what Roseanne Barr did. But he wouldn't do the gesture. He would just spit on the mound and they'd leave. just like that.
Covering her ears while doing it. Oh, that I don't know whose bright idea was it to have Roseanne sing the national anthem.
She got
I
paid.
don't know.
But she made a heck of a lot of money on that.
Yeah, she made millions, and that was the same amount of money she got when she divorced Tom Arnold.
Yeah, right.
So, Eric, what do you think? Is this a legit accomplishment?
Yeah, it's a good accomplishment from Ronald Acuña. He's very, very young, and I'll tell you one thing: he's already a superstar of the future. I mean, he's already got himself a World Series ring. So you're talking about Hall of Famer, first ballot.
No, he does not. Actually, they didn't give him a ring.
Oh, he didn't give him a ring?
No, it says Rookie of the Year, 4-time All-Star, Silver Slugger, no ring.
I thought he was with the team in 2021.
He was, but they didn't give him a ring. I don't know why they didn't give him a ring.
Because he got injured.
Yeah, but I don't think that's an excuse to not give one of your prospects a ring.
Yeah, you're still on the team, even though you're hurt.
You get a ring. I don't know why they didn't give him a ring.
Well,
at least he played during that season.
He only played half the season, so I don't know why of any significance.
Well, I guess he was supposed to play a certain number of games under his contract then.
But that doesn't make any sense. I don't get that. It's just the fact that even the clubhouse boys.
The Red Sox gave Nomar a ring when he was traded.
Yes, and that's a scandal no one's going to talk about. Oh, Jesus. Hold on. I'll be back.
All right. So you think Eric is
all I know is bottom line is great on Acuña. Great job.
All right, Jason, what do you think? Is this legit despite the rule changes?
I think so. I don't see why not stealing 60 bases would not be legit. I mean, unless, of course, the guy's just trying to hang off of first and trying to get a lead. If he's getting a good enough lead, the guy has experience when it comes to stealing bases. Look, a base stealer has to read both the pitcher and the catcher at any given time. And if he gets a good jump, 90% of the time he's going to be safe. If he gets a good start on it, if he starts getting picked off, then we know he's got a problem. But Ronald Acuna Jr., if he's stolen 60 bases already, and what's not to say he's not on pace for 100? There's still a lot of baseball left. We still got 23 days left of baseball until October. So, and not including the playoffs, he could still steal some bases in the playoffs too. I don't think he's not going to try at all for that.
Oh, yeah.
So my thing is that if it's legit, it's going to be legit. But you know what? For some reason, they're going to find some way not to give him that title. Mm-hmm. Somewhere along the line, baseball has their loopholes that they can go through, their lobbyists or their people who they want to see actually get the recognition, while the guy who busts his butt, and we know that for a fact, and Eric, I think you can agree with me on it, that those who bust their butt in baseball or any professional sport seem to get overlooked by the guy who's sitting on the bench more. I don't know if you agree with me on that, but even if you don't, I can understand that. But still, I would think you're up there day in and day out doing your job, under contract, fulfilling it, then you should be entitled to the goodies that are coming to you. That's all I'm saying on that. Next.
Dexter?
I think it's legitimate. Despite the rule changes, that shouldn't affect a player's play. I mean, a player's ability to set records.
Yeah, I agree, and it's the same answer for me because it's an actual stat on the scoreboard, so it counts. So, despite the rule changes, it's actually legitimate because it counts up with that game. So, and before we get to news, I do want to say something. For those who watch the Let's Talk Football, is coming back this upcoming Wednesday. And it's gonna be a great show. But I want to say this though, I'll be on the show every other week because I have the hockey podcast. I'll be co-hosting with Jason, the Hockey Puckers, and with me also doing this until October.
That's Hockey Puckers, David. Hockey Puckers.
That's what I said. The Hockey Puckers.
The Hockey Puckers, and we don't start that till October 2nd, guys. So we got but we got.
I was going to say, Don Rickles' estate has a word he likes to speak with you.
Hockey Pucker.
Yeah, that's a copywritten statement, I think, to Don Rickles with the hockey pucks.
Yep, but we're calling it the Hockey Puckers.
Yeah. All right, let's go.
As you know, that means kiss ass when you do the lip sync.
Your lips to God's ears, Joey.
I know. He's going to strike me down one of these days, and it's going to be at second base at Dodger Stadium.
Oh, boy.
Lightning bolt, man.
All right, so let's go to the news over here. Pirates, Andrew McCutchen will be on the IL and will miss the remainder of the season with nephrology's partial tear. So he'll be gone for the rest of the season. And Marlins placed Sandy Alcantara on the IL due to left arm discomfort. And they also put Soler on the IL as well with a right Acuña strain as well. So, and despite that rough day for them, they still won the game last night versus the Dodgers. So, here are the that's the injuries. Now let's go to the accomplishments. As you know, we already talked about it. Ronald Acuña Jr. is the first player in history with 30 home runs and 60 stolen bases, and also he had that 30th home run with the grand slam on his wedding day. So that is pretty incredible. And also he hit that grand slam in LA, which is perfect. And speaking of LA, the Dodgers, Mookie Betts has now hit 250 home runs. Aaron Judge did the same thing, 250 home runs. Phillies, JT Realmuto has hit 150 home runs. The Braves are the first team to get 90 wins this season. And as for the second team who is closest to that mark, I believe is the Dodgers. So we'll see how it goes with that. And Cubs, Justin Steele, has set career high 12 Ks versus the Giants. ERA for the season now 2.55. Cleveland's Royce Lewis notches three grand slams in the past week. That's another rare thing, a couple for accomplishment. Yankees Giancarlo Stanton joins Miguel Cabrera and Nelson Cruz, the sick man, this season with 400 plus home runs. Miguel Cabrera has 18 most hits of all time. Joey, Bob Melvin has now accomplished 1,500 wins. Former Ace manager and now Padres current manager.
Good for him. Good for him.
Bravo.
He deserves recognition, albeit I rather he still be in Oakland because his current counterpart has barely reached 100 wins, and he's going to be somewhere in the vicinity of close to 300 losses at some point.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know what's going on in the Padres clubhouse with them being in fourth place, but I don't know.
I can answer that question. The question about the Padres is that they were at one time really looking good, but you got to remember again what Snowman said about a month ago. Every team that has its high point is finding out how bad they are once they get on that losing streak, you know? And it's the same thing where the Diamondbacks had the division for most of the first half of the season. What happened?
Yes.
They get sloppy, go lose 7-8 in a row. And now the Dodgers, looking back, now Arizona, the Dodgers, and the Giants are all fighting for that division spot.
Mm-hmm.
The Padres, they literally just destroyed themselves, just like the Mets.
It's not how you start with the all season you had; it's how you finish.
That's right. And the second half kind of proves the pivotal points of, like you said, September, the dark days of summer in baseball coming right down to, you know.
Exactly. Here are the transactions that's call ups updates. We have 2 this week. Brewers are signing Charles Donaldson to a minor league contract, and Diamondbacks are calling up top prospect infielder Jordan Lauer. Any other news? In AAA, the strike zone will be slightly bigger since this past Tuesday. The MLB postseason will not have the pitch clock, and I actually kind of agree with that because who in the world cares? We were already using it in the regular season. You know what's the point? I know it's for players to have time to breathe, but there's a thing called doing this. Do that for
Okay,
once.
Garcia Parra, calm down. He started yanking the shirt and he's checking his glasses.
So it's like, you know, you're supposed
There's
to
a thing.
glasses
There's
before
also
you get on the air, not after.
there's also this.
Honk. I would like to see if the butler would come up to the plate and start passing out tissues and you know, like that body spray that the model Rick Martel used to have, maybe to make himself.
Oh yeah. That was there was arrogance, the arrogance body spray.
Yeah, so those baseball players will have some arrogance. You know, they need some sneaky arrogance just to get themselves sweaty. You know.
Reds TJ Frady, is the only player this season with or in history with no wake-up song. It keeps him focused, as he says. Sources saying is a Japanese pitcher. I'm gonna send it to show me on Facebook because I have the news on my other computer, so I can't put it on my private.
Oh,
chat.
is it the one I'm thinking of?
Check Messenger?
Oh, no.
No.
You're talking about the Bay Stars pitcher, right?
It says that's Yokohama DNA Bay Stars.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
you typed it wrong. I think it's
Oh, okay.
Shota Imanaga. Shota
Okay.
Imanaga is a very great pitcher for the. I was gonna say Jesse was frozen briefly, but Shota Imanaga is a very talented pitcher for the Yokohama Bay Stars. When I play out of the park baseball, I would pick the Bay Stars. He would be the ace of my staff because he would pitch better than any gaijin that they had available.
Oh yeah.
And that's the best part is there was another guy who's supposed to get posted soon too, and that's I think it's Ryoki Sasaki, and he pitched a perfect game over their last season, and I think he pitches for the Chibalote. He pitched for the Marines. So that's two significant pitching arms, but don't let Texas sign any more Japanese imports.
Why
I'm not
Seattle
saying that
why
it's not a
Seattle
bad
have a chance?
idea. It's just that Texas has
Seattle
had the
have a-
worst.
Does Seattle have a chance? You know.
Well, Seattle has had their chance. They had Ichiro. They had Ichiro for a significant amount of time. I mean,
Oh,
look
no,
at
but
Boston.
I meant for a pitcher.
Yeah,
They
Seattle have a chance
did.
to-
They did twice.
Shigetoshi Hasagawa, David.
No, 3 times. Shigetoshi Hasegawa, Kaz Sasaki, and Hisashi Iwakuma. Need I say more? They had another hitter. His name is Kenji Jojima. That's 4. 5 with Ichiro. They're the Asian capital of the world when it comes to baseball because Nintendo was one of their sponsors for a significant amount of time. So, Seattle's had a very rich history of Japanese imports from overseas. And that's the one thing about it is Seattle's never been to a World Series with no matter how good those people were. Because every time they have a Japanese player, that means the gaijin have to work that much harder. And if you don't know what gaijin means, that means for all the white people.
Oh my god!
I haven't heard that word since Mr. Baseball with Tom Selleck. Kuroko, I'm just a gaijin, and I don't know.
And that's the best part is Tom Selleck was a fantastic. He played a fantastic role in that movie.
Yeah.
And he was playing for the Yankees, and then he went and played for Detroit at the end of the. And Dennis Haysbert, who was fantastic as well as an actor, he ended up getting signed to the Dodgers in that movie. And people forget that in 1989, Dennis Haysbert was in Major League playing Pedro Serrano. But the most significant player right now that's of Japanese descent. And I'm not going to say Otani because then that's just playing favoritism. Masataka Yoshida has been tearing the cover off the damn ball for Boston. And Eric called this months ago when we were doing the first set of episodes. Yoshida is hitting over 300. If he doesn't get some form of Rookie of the Year compensation or anything like that, then they're wrong. Because I think he's going to be the first Japanese player to win it since Ichiro. That's how good I think he is.
I hope so.
Because as a rookie, 1.4 WAR, 292 average, 15 home runs, 68 RBIs. His OPS is 114. That's 14% better than the rest of the league. And yes, his defensive WAR sucks, but then again, they had Hanley Ramirez playing left field there for years. So that just tells you, don't put Ramirez in left field. Manny was okay, but he was not Gold Glove caliber. But Japanese players are the future of baseball, and that was the thing that they went over the most significantly recently. African-American ball players are no longer a part of the game because you don't see as many of them anymore. And when you do, everyone gets all up in arms for some reason. It's not football.
I was gonna say, I know Seattle has a rich history with players of Japan coming over. I'm just like, hey, why not Seattle have a chance to get that new Japanese pitcher because they need more pitching for their starting rotation. That's where I'm coming from.
They had that was the sad part was during the mid 2000 the mid
2001.
2010s. The mid
Oh,
2010s specifically, because in 2001 they had 3 different Japanese players on that roster. They had
yeah.
Hasegawa, they had Sasaki. Sasaki won Rookie of the Year for him, I believe. No, I think he was either Rookie or Reliever of the Year. Kaz Sasaki. He was part of that 116 win team. He only played for 4 years in the major leagues, but he left a major impact. Yeah, no, he was Rookie of the Year when he first came up in 2000. Yeah, he was. So there's potential there for 2. Well, that was back to back because you had Rookie of the Year for Sasaki and then you had Rookie of the Year for Ichiro. So yeah, no. And then you got guys like Hideki Matsui. Do I think Cuban-born players are they're not ruining the game, but it's just the fact that nobody's scouting around anymore, not like they used to. Because baseball has a combine now that they've been doing too. They do it just like the NFL combine where they do the 60-yard dash and all that stuff, but I don't think that's really helpful because it's just like it's just like football. Boom or bust.
All right. I just saw this. This was a funny quote I just saw on Facebook. It's hockey related, but I'll just show it anyway. You see that?
Oh God, that's great.
Uh,
The freaking goalie.
Yeah.
That explains why goalies are so good. Even 25 beers deep, they're laying down in front of the goal and they're still blocking shots.
Let me switch my camera. There you go. Now you see it much better.
Yeah, 25 beers deep. I can't believe that.
Yep.
After he got traded to Boston, of all places.
All right, Eric. Let's get to the reports now.
All right, as you know, the Red Sox have been having a little rough go, and the Houston Astros had swept them, and the Houston Astros have shown everyone in the major leagues why they are the defending world champions. You know, the Astros are a tough team to beat. And then the Red Sox did, however, end a 13-game losing streak at the Tropicana Field when they took the second game of the 3-game series against Tampa Bay. And Tampa Bay took 2 out of 3. But the Red Sox...
Actually, Eric, the first game of that series.
Yeah, first game of the series, and Tampa Bay took the second 2. And so now the Red Sox, well, they say they're still optimistic, even though they're they're staying upbeat despite missed opportunity, and like I said, Tampa Bay, Red Sox, I mean, I know time's running out, but they're still upbeat. We'll see what happens. And it looks like a big, humongous and do we blame the umps? I don't know. So but Kenley Jensen's lost his touch as a closer. He gave up a walk-off homer to Brandon Lowe in that game. And let's see if there's any more. Let's see what's next on the list here. And so they're still 4th in the American League East. That's good news. But the Red Sox got a series in Fenway that is going to be really, really tough because the Red Sox got a 3-game series against the first place Orioles. So in order for the Red Sox to really try to make a run for the playoffs, they're going to have to do some serious damage against Baltimore and play spoiler. But like I said, Baltimore's been on a tear in the American League East. Then we got the last play. Then the Red Sox got the last place Yankees start the new week, the week of September 11th. and a 4-game series, and then back on the road with a 3-game series against Toronto, and then we got the Rangers, and then we got the White Sox and the Rays visit the Red Sox for a 2-game series, and basically end September until October will be for against the Orioles. But some,
At Camden Yards. Yep.
at Camden Yards. Marcelo Mayer shut down for the rest of the season. That's gonna as he continues his recovery from shoulder inflammation. The good news is that he is progressing. So, baseball activities and he can resume that next week. But he ended up, hitting 189, 254, 355 with 6 homers and 43. That's still not much of a sample size. So the Red Sox can't call him up, obviously, and they already got their September call up. So we'll see what happens. Red Sox got a tough road to get to. So we'll see what happens.
Yep. All right, Chester.
Well, since the Astros have been on a tear recently, let's take a look at I'm gonna wear one of the recent victims as a prop. Yeah, the Astros swept the Red Sox. They swept the Yankees, and they recently swept the Texas Rangers. And Michael Brantley is back. He's looking pretty good. He's been on him and Altuve have just been on fire. It looks like they're back in championship form. Let's take a look at the standings right now. We are first place. The Mariners are second, and the Rangers are third. So that's gonna be a tight. Race. Who do you think's gonna win that division, David? For the West.
Probably the Astros. That's my answer. Eric, who do you think? Who do you think, Eric, is going to win the AL West? Is Eric around?
There he is.
Oh, on mute.
I think he froze. Oh no, he's moving.
Give me
I can.
AL West?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Looks like.
I got an app on. I'm trying to do something here. Sorry.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
I got an app on. Don't bother me. Like I said, don't care.
Okay.
AL West is going to be tough. I like to see Seattle take it, but we'll see.
All right, Jason.
For the AL West, well, as I was saying before, I think that race and the AL East, I have some very interest on as well. I think, for what it's worth, Seattle looks like the contending team in the West. The Rangers are coming in at second, and Houston is coming in third. And that's not anything against Jesse. It's just the way I see how they're playing. I mean, it's going to be a tight race in the West. And I spoke about this on Snowman's show 2 weeks ago, and I am amazed at the way the Mariners have just come out of the shadows in the last 2 weeks to just go ahead of everybody. That, as I said before, and I will say it again, the AL West is a mysterious division. You never know what's going to happen, and it comes right down to the last week of baseball before it's all said and done. And as far as the AL East is concerned, the Baltimore Baby Birds are doing it again, folks. They are showing that division and the American League they are for real this time, and no turning back. 3 games up on Tampa Bay. Take it away.
Joey?
Well, I would love for Seattle. Houston's probably going to be the wild card with Texas. The significance of these next couple weeks is going to truly show who is stronger, who is better built as a team. Because the Astros finally got Brantley back, but they're still missing key pieces that they need, like Valdez, and I know France was pitching good recently, but he hasn't.
Don is back, so.
Yeah, but there's a difference. One man doesn't make a team. Ask New York. Either New York team.
New York is dead last.
Well, New York. Ba 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 da 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 da.
Yeah. Hey. And I'm not on camera to show my wonderful little can dance, you know.
Oh my God, might get us in trouble.
If they put a cow on the field, man, that would be fantastic. You know, one day to see a cow. The farmer didn't feed the cow.
Hey, if they put Bartolo Colon and Vogelback on the field, they could put a cow on the field, okay?
The fastest one to grab the cheeseburger wins, you know?
But yeah, no, I think Seattle's probably going to be the top seed because they have a lot of talent, pitching wise, hitting wise. Texas and Houston are definitely going to fight it out for second place, though.
Yeah,
because right now,
can we bring up
the standings? It's too close to even say anything right now because one can say one thing, another person can say another, but you cannot tell me that this is not going to be a significant race for the rest of the season because right now Houston has now taken over first place because Texas has been struggling and Seattle 1 game back, but the magic number right now is 22 for Seattle and 20 for Texas because in the wild card race everything is just jumbled up at this point because you got a 73-win team winning the Central right now. Yeah, you got an 88-51 team for the Orioles, and this is coming from a team that, well, the Braves somehow haven't clinched yet, and it's September. That's what shocks me. But that's the thing. You got 2 different divisions. One is actually close. You can throw away the Central. I don't give a damn about the freaking Central. The Central is a joke. Because the Minnesota Twins have not won a playoff series, not a playoff game in 20 years. So look at this. You got 1 game separating Houston and Seattle. You got 3 games between the Rangers and the Astros. Any significance that this is going to have is going to happen now. Because you got Seattle playing Tampa Bay tonight. That is where the Orioles are going to have to pull away because they only have a 3-game lead. But Houston especially – it's going to have some tough games against teams that are no longer in the playoffs.
Look at that.
Like the Padres.
Now on the top. What a change from a couple of days ago where Seattle had the top spot. And because Houston's on that, you get on that game, that winning streak, and we said this on DMS 3000 Live, you get on that winning streak, you're going to have a chance. You get on a losing streak, you could just kiss your ass goodbye.
Well, you look at those records, and this is what they have for, I think the X means Pythagorean records. So the A's, they're supposed to be 42 and 98. Of course they are.
No,
the
right?
The Angels are supposed to are right at what they're supposed to be. The Rangers are supposed to have 82 wins right now, but because of the way they've been playing, they've lost 3 straight. They're 3-7 in the last 10. The Mariners are supposed to have 80 wins, and the Astros are supposed to be 82 and 59. That's why the significant thing is any team that has a winning percentage right now over 500, every single one of them is going to make the playoffs. The only issue is Minnesota is going to make the playoffs just being a pure division leader despite having only 6 games above 500. You look at Cleveland. That makes me sick that a team 6 games under 500 is in playoff contention. That is garbage, man.
Well, but they're 10 games back in the wild card. They got to make up a lot of ground, and even though they're on a 1-game winning streak, they got to play the Angels starting tonight.
You saw what a 39 win team did to the Angels, so don't even give me that. So yeah, no, things can change right away.
Look at the Angels, man, losers of 6 straight already, boys.
And they lost to the A's 3 in a row, and the A's lost 2 out of 3 to Toronto. So that's the thing. I think Toronto's in 3rd place right now, so it didn't mean a damn thing.
No,
but look at that.
Games back on the Magic.
But look at that. Yeah. And Eric, I'm making your day by saying this. I think the Red Sox might take one of these wild cards. I legitimately think that. With the rest of the season to go, they're playing Baltimore tonight. Baltimore has to put the foot on the throat of the Red Sox, or else Toronto currently has a wild card spot. Tampa has the 2nd wild card spot by a wide margin.
Yeah.
But if Toronto falls off the wagon here, that means the Red Sox waltz in without a problem. So that's why this is such a significant stretch for all teams involved, especially when it comes to what's going on right now. Boston is still in this. Boston is not out of it.
No, you guys are not out of it. And by staying out of the cellar, you guys have put yourself in a position, even though you're losers of 2 right now, and you got to play the baby birds. Is right. Joey's right. You guys got to go in there and kick the baby birds' butt. But I'll tell you what, it's going to be a tough test right now for you guys. But I feel, and I think Joey feels, 5 games back at any given moment, you guys are going to come right down to the last week of baseball.
But that's the only other problem here that I see that's significant. Boston has to keep winning ball games.
Right. But
they're 5 back in the wild card. They have 7 for your elimination number. If I'm in that clubhouse right now and I'm not doing what we're doing, which is sitting on our asses and being analysts right now, what we're thinking about right now, if I'm one of those 26 men that's on that roster and I see we're above the Yankees, you want to eliminate the Yankees early. You want to get the Yankees out of there. It's September 7th. The season doesn't end for another few weeks. You want the Yankees gone and buried. You want Toronto. Toronto is not doing well against teams over 500. They're facing the Royals tonight. Yes, that seems like an easy win, but Kansas City and the A's have both showed, despite winning less than 50 games, you can play spoiler anytime you want. And that's the worst part about these teams that are terrible. And yes, I'm saying the A's are terrible, and that's the most important part. You do not understate the fact that terrible teams can help you win the playoffs and make the postseason. People understand. Now I'm starting to sound like Chris Russo. God bless me. But the significance of this whole thing is you understand where I'm going with this, though. Yeah. Any team like Cleveland, for example, is keeping things interesting right now. Cleveland is 10 back. They're having an elimination number of 17, despite being poor, playing much poorer than the Red Sox are. Imagine that. All these significant amounts of data are going through your head right now. You have a team like Seattle that's a game and a half up on the wild card. They don't care. They don't have to finish anywhere in the division. Seattle is the 2nd wild card. Tampa has the 1st, which is still amazing and mind-boggling to think about because Boston is only 5 games back. Look at where the Rangers are. The Rangers are only 4 games up right now. Think about that. Texas has lost 3 straight. The Angels have lost 6 straight. Texas starts losing against the A's this weekend, and the A's start winning some games. The A's come out of the woodwork and make Boston playoff contenders. If Boston all of a sudden just starts winning. It's not that Boston is not going to start winning. It's just that the terrible teams, any terrible team given a chance, when they know they have nothing to lose, can play spoiler to Cinderella. And if you look at the National League, too.
Well, I was going to say, and to reiterate what Joey said, yes, you guys, but it's kind of like when you're in an NFL playoff team contention, and you still got to win your games, and you can't rely on those other teams to lose. You still got to go out there and win. That's the important thing. It's great.
Yeah.
You've got spoilers coming to help you, but how much farther can they take you? You still got to go there and prove that you are a contender regardless and show these scumbags because the papers are going to write Well, they got in because of a has-been team or a low-life team. That's the only way they got in. They didn't show anything. And the papers are going to come down hard on them. The journalists and the sports writers are going to be like, well, these baseball players just kind of waltzed right in. Well,
that goes to show you that baseball writers haven't played a damn game of baseball in their life.
That's right.
They learned how to write. They learned how to type on a computer, and they learned how to they learned how to write. It's just like, oh, good. You know what? You went to be a schoolboy. Good for you. But now that we're done talking about, but here's where it gets really silly to think about. Miami.
Yeah.
Yes, the Mets have been eliminated, but they're fighting to not finish behind the Nationals right now. They face Minnesota, and Minnesota is looking to keep their division lead. So this is where we go back to it again. The Mets can easily cause the Indians or Guardians or whatever the hell you want to call them these days, they can help them win the division. The Indians can come back and win the division with a losing record. It's happened once before. It's happened before. But teams like Philadelphia, who are 11 back, Atlanta is out of this world this season, and they're facing teams that are better than 500, and they are beating them by a 22-game clip. But as you go down, Go ahead.
But right now, Atlanta's losers are 3 straight, and St. Louis has been part of that reason. The spoiler team, St. Louis, has really took to the Braves what the Braves thought. They're just cruising again. Your losers are 3 straight on the division. You're just helping.
And that's exactly what happened to the Yankees years ago.
Yep.
The Yankees won all those games, and then they started to lose and lose and lose and lose and lose because you rested all your players, and you're like, well, we'll win the division. Seeding is exactly why there's issues with ball players.
That's right.
Because if you go down now, you look at the NL Central, which is significant, which is like the AL West.
Yeah.
Because Kevin Henry has been on me recently. He's been telling me, oh, the Reds are done. Yes, they've lost 1 in a row. But the way things have gone on, you look at the Giants. The Giants have lost 6 straight. And you know what's even funnier? When they came to play the A's last month in August, the Giants got swept by the team that had not won more than 30 games. That's the best part. Because you got teams now. You got Arizona. The Reds are currently a half game up on Arizona, and they're facing the Cubs. You see the wheels slowly turning. The Cubs are facing Arizona. The Reds are facing St. Louis. St. Louis is out of it, and they're not going to win this time. But the Reds have an off day today, so the significance gets you right there. The Cubs are in the wild card spot. They're in the second wild card spot. The Dodgers are up 12 games in their division right now, 13 if you count the loss column. But the significance of all this is as you go along, the Giants have not played solid baseball. That's why they got dropped out of the wild card spot. And that's why I'm telling Kevin, yes, the Reds have been losing and they have run out of gas like he says. But 17 games. Their elimination number is 17. They are still half a game back. They're still 4 games up in the win-loss column, and they're 5.5 back in the division. A lot can happen in the next 20 games or so. This is why baseball is such a magical sport, because the Yankees are facing the Brewers. The Cubs are facing Arizona tonight. So if Arizona loses this one, that means the Reds jump and leapfrog them by a half game. So that means the Reds would have the final wild card spot as of today after that game against the Cubs. And I don't think that game's going on right now. I think they might have the early game today, but I don't know. So it could be as easily as this afternoon.
There are no games until tonight. We have the Dodgers.
Yeah, no, their game is not until 4:40 this afternoon.
Now you got
Meanwhile,
look at the Atlanta Braves, who they got to go up against the next 2 series. They finished their series with St. Louis tonight, and then they got to go to Pittsburgh.
And
So,
that's exactly the issue. It's
feeders.
not whether or not how good your team is.
Yeah,
Look at the teams that are playing that can play spoiler right now.
right now,
Because
yeah.
if you go back up to Atlanta and you see they have a significant lead, but David and Eric are not going to like me for saying this. 1978, the Yankees and the Red Sox. There was that significant lead. I think it was 13, 14 games, and it was August. Now it's early September. The games are still going to count.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the games still count. They're at game 138 right now. 139 as of today. And guess what? You play 162 games. There's 23 left.
That year, 1978, means nothing to me now.
Oh, okay.
Curse is over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the curse is broken. So there we go.
That's
But
right.
the reason I reference this is because any given day, a team could easily erase a deficit. That's why if you look at a team like the Dodgers have a division lead of 13 games. Arizona could easily go off if they really wanted to. It's not saying if and when and why. What's that? What is that, David? I can't see you. I don't have my reading glasses on.
It's the remaining
Hold on, let me-
that they
Oh, the
have.
lineup? Is that the lineup for the Red Sox?
No. No, that's the magic number stuff. Hold on. Let
Oh,
me try this.
okay.
Well,
Back up your phone a little bit.
I was gonna say you're gonna blind us all.
Yeah, because the phone's gonna hit the
All
reflection of the camera. Whoa.
Back it up.
Okay, there we go. Now we can see.
So the magic number for all those teams is all American League right now.
Yeah.
So to make the playoffs, the Red Sox is 27. Their eliminated number is 18, 17 as of today. The Rays and the Orioles are pretty much going to make it. The Twins, more than likely. The Astros, more than likely. The Mariners, the Blue Jays, the Rangers, all are on the bubble right now. The Red Sox, they would need everything to happen for them to make the playoffs. I'm not saying it won't happen. I'm not saying it will happen. But where there's a will, there's a way. Because the Yankees and the Guardians, they would need a miracle to happen because they need to win all those games. Tigers, Angels, and White Sox all eliminated already. I don't count them anymore. The Angels had their chance. They sold when they should have sold sooner. Now they're in a tight spot where Trout is broken down and old. That's why he's not usable anymore. And they signed him to that massive contract. Artie Moreno has caused this franchise to go from 20 years ago winning a World Series title. They haven't made the playoffs in 8 years. They made the 9 years. 9 years going on this year. It's 2014 they made it. But yeah, no, the Braves are in, Dodgers are in, Phillies, Brewers, Cubs. Where are the Reds? The Reds would need a lot to happen. But 23 games. 23. So the Mets, Rockies, Nationals, Cardinals are all out. Pirates probably out. Padres out. Giants, Diamondbacks, Reds, and Marlins are all fighting for one spot right now out of 3 wild cards. Because the Phillies have one, the Brewers have won are winning their division, and the Cubs are in second right now in the wild card. This is why there's such a thing as a shuffle and everything, because there's adverse effects that we only have about a minute left, and I don't know if we're going to go over or not. But
well, let me ask the one question that I wanted to ask you, Joey, and that is okay, if the Mets are still 8 games back in the wild card, yet they've been eliminated, what would happen if they still went on like a 10, 15-game winning streak? Would they still
make the playoffs? They're eliminated from the division. They are not eliminated from the wild card. That is the difference.
That's what I'm looking at, and I'm like, wait a minute, it's a
wacky thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
That is why baseball is such a significant thing, because teams like Boston, teams like New York can still make the playoffs. They don't have to win the freaking division. The division is so they get a better seeding. That's why seeding in baseball is so significant. And we've been dead serious about this the entire time. It's not that Boston is not a playoff team. It's just that sometimes when David, you can bleep this if you want or not. It's a live show. But when shit hits the fan, unfortunately, you don't want to be in front of that fan because the good teams and the bad teams can cause conclusive damage and a lot of property damage to other teams. That's why Boston is a very dangerous team with only 6 games being over 500. They are not they are that problem team that could throw a monkey wrench in a lot of teams' plans, because you don't expect Boston, a team in 4th place right now, to overtake the Blue Jays, who just won 2 out of 3 from a team that's won just under 50. That's won 7 less than 50 games. You don't expect these teams to be good. But when the bad teams come knocking on your door and you say, "Oh, thank you for the help," you send them a box of chocolates or you send them some Fenway Franks, whatever you want to say thank you.
The chocolates.
And before we go,
chocolate-covered strawberries, please, and champagne.
and before we go, I always want to ask this question since we started this. You have showing 5 minutes to answer this. What division is better, the AL East or the AL West?
Whew.
That's a tough one. That is a tough one.
He's giving me open forum for 5 minutes to think about this. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Put him up in the middle. Give him the whole
Oh,
screen.
yeah, I'll give him the solo.
Give him the
Oh, man. He's
there we go.
So, for division-wise, I give significant flack to nobody in this division except for the Yankees. And David, you can pop that thing up whenever you want. I don't care. But the Yankees are the only team out there that don't have.
The following is a public service announcement from David 3000.
Yankees suck.
This has been a public service announcement from David 3000.
Yes.
Every single time it's gold.
Speechless, yes.
But Boston is one of the 4 playoff teams that could potentially come out of there. Toronto is going to be fighting Boston tooth and nail until the end, because Toronto is behind by a lot on the Rays right now. 8 games to be exact. Baltimore is making the playoffs unless there's a late season collapse. The Orioles have a lot of great talent right now. They're taking the division. The Rays are going to be the first wild card. The AL West right now has 3 teams separated by a total of 3 games. The Rangers have to beat the A's this week if they want to stay anywhere close. Seattle has to stay on track because it took them to the last day of the season last week of the season last year against the A's to win on a walk-off home run by Cal Raleigh. Now it's Houston's division to lose because they have 80 wins. If you have 80 victories right now and you are still not competing in a division and you're still competing for the top part of the division, I'd say both divisions are tough. I give it more to the AL West right now because the 2 top teams in the AL East right now both have 80-plus wins, and they're still fighting for the top spot. 88 wins has not won you the division yet, and 85 wins has not won you the division yet. The significant part of this is it's come down to pitching and good team play, which all 5 of the teams I just mentioned, including, well, not 5, 7 teams. You have 7 teams in 2 different divisions fighting for 2 wild card spots. This is why the wild card was added in 1994. No, 93. It's been around for 30 years, and it's brought in teams that have been significantly different than others that have the lower payrolls. They don't have the great talented players. They don't have the high-end talent, but they are there, and they don't go away. That's why the AL East is such a tough division right now, because you got 3 games separating 2 very talented teams, including the Rays, who have gone – they were 13-0 to start the season. Now they're 72, and they've gone 72-55. Yes, that's still a plus of 17 games, but they trailed off from winning 13 games in a row to start the season. You have to keep the foot on the throat, and you got to make sure that you keep the other teams from overtaking you. That's why when Toronto and Boston are fighting it out for the final wild card, they're also going to be fighting Seattle and Texas. That's why both those divisions, they don't care what Cleveland is doing right now, because Cleveland could still catch the Twins, because the Twins are still not the greatest team, but they still have to win their games too. All 3 divisions right now could have players in the wild card game.
And is that final?
That is final.
That's his final answer.
Well, that took 5 minutes and a lot. I have to clean my computer screen after this. I think I sprayed about half of it.
Yeah, you said you didn't say.
Don't spray it. Want the news, not the weather.
Hey, not my fault. I have a gap in my teeth. I look like a spray. I look like you give me a glass of water. I'll start going like a sprinkler system and go, and then go click, 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 click.
I'm just joking with you, man.
I know, but I was
Joey
debating
takes
what
a
to do with
lot,
my. I was debating what to do with this, and I'm like, and I asked David before the show started. I'm like, do I have enough time to shave? And it was even funnier because I did this. David was to my left. You two hadn't come in yet, but David was to my left. I was to the right, and underneath me was Jesse. I said, baby face, halfway through life, full beard.
Hold on, let me do something real
Funniest thing is, I couldn't imagine Dave. Oh,
quick.
yeah, like that. There's clean shaven, there's half shaven, and then there's full beard.
Yeah.
Because you got babyface St. Dennis, you got me, and then you got Jesse, and then there's Eric, who could be David's uncle at this point.
Oh God.
Oh god.
It's just like, okay, Uncle Eric, I'm ready to go to the ball game.
And I was supposed to shave too, and I keep forgetting to shave. But it's so
I know, but there's a difference. If you shave, the razor will break.
no.
And that's happy here for this
I
episode.
shaved
And
over here on my face, right here. I want to have it went, ouch, and I cut a
Jesus Christ!
That happened to me a couple of times.
I rather use the electric razor because I've never seen somebody, because you heard about baseball injuries where one of the most significant ones and one of the weirdest ones was Steve Sparks. He was a knuckleball pitcher in the majors. He went on the disabled list with a dislocated shoulder. You want to know what he did? He tried ripping a phone book in half. You know how thick a phone book is now?
That was what, about 35 some years ago when phone books.
No, 20. That happened 20 years ago.
You know how thin they are now? Those skinny little.
I know they're
pages.
thinner than most people's hairlines at this point.
Oh, to him.
on that note,
I've
I'll
never
see you
heard
all
of a man
next.
doing this. Just like,
I'll see you guys next week.
Oh.